Hi everyone, Zanoni Snowflake here, and the message from the starseeds: surrender your need to control the outcome. Just be with life in this present moment. They do the major arcana slightly different with this pack. 8 can be, most of the time it's strength in the major arcana and a lot of tarot, and in some tarot people's perspectives it's justice, whereas or it can be 11 of justice or strength, and you need a lot of strength for death and rebirth, and justice is like balance, isn't it? And you also need balance when you're going through the transformation, through realities and dimensions and transformation. So yeah, I think it's fitting. So 8, death, rebirth. Keywords: endings, beginnings, cycles, transformation, transmutation, change, growth. Key phrases: let go of the past. The future is unknowable. Change is unavoidable. There is no going back. Allow yourself to mourn. Death, rebirth is a gradual process. Shed your skin. The dark night of the soul. Allow innocence to be reborn. Focus on the short-term future. A change in beliefs, attitude or behavior. Meaning: the death rebirth card symbolizes cycles and change. Death rebirth is the death of the old and the birthing of the new. It is a time to let go of the past and turn to face a new and unknown future with the awareness that there is no going back. It is time to begin again, sometimes with nothing but memories, and at other times with everything external unchanged, but with your mind so altered that everything seems different, strange, and unfamiliar. It is a time to pass from one stage or state of being to another, and to be transformed so completely that the person undergoing the change no longer recognizes themselves. They are the caterpillar that has become a butterfly. An irreversible process of transmutation is complete. The person they were is forever gone, and they have been reborn. Life as they know it has changed. Change can inspire many little painless deaths, and sometimes great deaths born of intense loss, that must be mourned before we can face the future with excitement and anticipation once more. The loss of a spouse or family member, the end of a long-term relationship or career, retirement, and illness are just a few experiences that can bring about a death and rebirth process. Ours is a perpetual journey of undoing, being, and becoming. The death preceding rebirth can be quick and sudden, or slow and painful. In the process of dying, everything in life revolves around the death, the pain, the suffering, the anguish, the loss, the guilt, the anger, and the fear. The pain can be so real it is debilitating. The fear can be so paralyzing that it halts all growth and has one withdrawing from life itself. We can cycle around, analysing, questioning, preventing our wounds from healing, refusing to accept that life has changed and there is nothing that can be done to restore it to what it was. That stage of life is over. There are only two choices: remain in limbo or accept reality, surrender to death and be reborn. The rebirth process can also be problematic. It is not an instant process. Sometimes before we can soar, we must also learn how to fly all over again. Yes, our outlook can be positive, but the future is still unknown. Our beliefs had changed. Our perception and understanding of the world around us have changed. Our roles and purpose have changed. Our lives and state of mind and being are not as they were. We know what we are capable of, but first we must learn and adapt to the changes that led us to the little death in the first place. The Death Rebirth card is all about renewal, regeneration, new beginnings. Like the seasons, we are bound by a cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Like the planet we dwell upon, we experience seasons and stages: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Spring is a time of new growth, summer a time of fruition, autumn a time of letting go and dying, and winter a time of dormancy and regeneration. Autumn and winter can inspire feelings of loss and fear. We fear death and change because we do not know what comes after. But the truth is that we do know. But we are so accustomed to life as it is now that the idea of anything different creates resistance. There is, however, no halting change. And just as we know and trust what spring will follow winter, and just as we know and trust that spring will follow winter, we can know and trust that after death, we will be reborn. Death is just a gateway to a new reality, a new stage of your life journey, while rebirth is symbolic of an evolving and expanding consciousness. The past. Change comes upon us. We grow. Our lives change. Our bodies change. Our minds change. Our beliefs change. Our goals change. We transform. Unfortunately, we often fight change with every breath and fibre of our being. Holding on to the past in a fearful manner that restricts our growth and fills our life with suffering instead of ease. We become hoarders who refuse to throw away anything because one day we might use it, even though it is broken. When the Death Rebirth card appears in the past, it is urging us, like a snake, to shed our skin, to let go of past experiences, outdated beliefs, bad habits, unrealistic expectations, and false perceptions, because we have grown and changed, and our past beliefs no longer represent us accurately. Just like the snake with its eye scales turned milky white, the things we hold on to can blind us to the truth. Apologies, not turn that down. Have to remember that. Oopsie. The things we hold on to can blind us to the truth and prevent us from seeing those changes clearly. Rather than accept the results of change, we may instead choose to deny the changes because they bring confusion and fear, and have us feeling vulnerable and defensive. Snakes, when they prepare to shed their skin, are inclined to strike defensively because they feel vulnerable and unsafe. Are you doing the same? Stop resisting. Allow the old skin that confines and restricts to crack and peel away. Shed the old and see how much you have grown and how truly beautiful you have become. The present. When the Death Rebirth card appears in the present, it represents a moment of dawning awareness. An epiphany. Ding ding! When you realize you want a different life to the one you are living, your beliefs have changed in a radical way, or you do not really like the person you are, or on a path to becoming. It is a sudden change of mind that transforms who you are in a very short span of time, sometimes instantly. Have you ever experienced a moment when you have seen yourself reflected in the words and actions of another person and find yourself suddenly wanting to be a better person? It's not a judgment of the other person, but a simple awareness that you are not presenting yourself in a manner that is in alignment with your core values. It's a light switch moment when you change from one state of being to another in a heartbeat. It's time for a new beginning, a change in beliefs, attitude, or behavior. Letting go in these moments is the easy part, but to those around you, the changes that have gone on within you are not obvious until they are acted upon. Sometimes that involves making real changes in your life, changing your lifestyle and behavior, your career, your relationships. Sometimes you even have to change the way you speak because your new state of mind and beliefs are in conflict with the manner in which you express yourself and communicate with others. Maybe you use your words that suggest a lack or restrictive or limiting beliefs, and you are so used to using them that embracing positive terms feels alien and awkward to begin with. Keep going. Continue to be mindful of your negative dialogue and change it accordingly. Remember also to be kind to yourself. A sudden change of mind needs time to filter through and manifest in your behavior, especially if the change is one that also ends long-term patterns of behavior. The Death Rebirth card signifies that awareness is key for the time being. Actions will speak so much louder than words. Do not tell everyone that you have changed. Instead, be the change. The future. The future can be terrifying for someone who has faced a sudden loss or change in their life. Changes of an extreme and final nature can destroy future goals, hopes, and plans in an instant. All at once, everything you dreamed of accomplishing suddenly seems impossible. Sometimes a sudden loss or change in the present brings with it the realization that your goals are no longer realistic. A loss in the present can destroy your future, everything you have, and everything you have strived for is no longer. When the Death Rebirth card appears in the future position, it is asking you to stop and breathe. Now is not the time to worry about the long-term future. You need to focus on a future that is more immediate, the coming days and weeks ahead. Do not allow your fear of a now changed future to trick you into believing that your goals are unattainable. They could still be realized, but you might have to change your plans. You might rethink. You might have to wait a little longer. Give yourself time to adjust to the changes around you before you make any long-term decisions. Do not panic. Focus for now on the short-term future. The rest will become clearer once your emotional and mental state has settled. It will not settle if you are worrying about a possible future that you might not even want when you have stopped grieving and have been reborn. Potential blockage. When life changes suddenly, we can be forced by circumstances to stop and take a reality check. When the Death Rebirth card appears reversed, it is time to take a long, hard look at your life and understand that it's time to let go. You can no longer live in a state of limbo. It is time to consider what is important and what is not. It is time to end the dying process and be reborn. Sometimes when the change is unwelcome or unexpected, the last thing you want is to do is let go. It's so very hard. All you want to do is scream, fight, and do everything in your power to prevent your world from crumbling around you. All you want is to restore normality. All you want is the life that you had. But that life is gone. You might want to lay blame, deny responsibility, and believe that you can continue on as you were, just by doing what you've always done. You try to hold on to what was as if it were a life preserver. But you do not want to see that the life preserver is actually a cement block that will drag you down into the murky depths if you do not let go. You fight and struggle and continue to hold on to the illusion, telling yourself that you cannot let go because to do so will bring the end you do not want or welcome. The future is unknown and terrifying. Everything has changed. It is the dark night of the soul, and that night can span days, weeks, months, even years. But it must eventually come to an end. The process of dying and being reborn leaves you feeling exposed and vulnerable. It can make you reactive and defensive. You do not want to be hurt.
Mars time.
But you are. Mars time, time for action. And so you may go on to the offensive to make yourself appear stronger and more competent in the midst of the storm. You have discovered the impermanent, fragile nature of life, and you are afraid. You might find yourself questioning everything, filled with doubts, uncertain of who you are, your purpose and reason for being. You may even question your very worth. It's okay to feel as you do, but the Death Rebirth card reverse comes to let you know that it's time to let go of your attachment to what was, what you hoped for, and what will no longer be. That it is time to accept what it is and start living again. The Death Rebirth card is the reverse position. In the reverse position asks that you let go and allow innocence to be reborn. And the language of the flowers, their loving support from the wisdoms of nature, was the CALLA lily. Latin name, Santa Discursia, Theopecia. That's probably more Italian sounding. Rejuvenation, reawake, and then stand stronger. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the Sagittarius moon energies, and it moves into Capricorn tomorrow evening. Namaste.